Today we're going to learn about big business. Watch this video. So welcome again. This is Vlogging with Tempo. I'm your host, Joey Brown. I'm the General Manager at Tempo Air. Today I've got a really special treat with you today. We're going to be talking about our business, current state, and then future plans. And I've got really a wonderful friend with me today. I've got Bryan Mount, our CEO. Very excited to have him here to talk about it. Best person, I think, to talk about this with you guys. So, Bryan, welcome on the program.
Thanks, Joey. Excited to be here. You know, I've been watching some of the vlogs on YouTube and Facebook and social media, and I'm glad that I finally got the introduction to come in and talk a little bit about, you know, big business.
Yeah. So, no doubt, big business is something that I think we're growing into for sure. You know, we started a little bit smaller than we are today for sure, and you know, what I'd really like to get with our audience today is kind of what you see we are today and where you kind of see we're going.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the trick I think is to, as we grow, not lose the identity of who we are. And so we're growing since we're essential business, essential service providers. Really since the pandemic, we've been growing year over year, leaps and bounds. And it's been a challenge to keep that culture that we've established as a sort of small to mid-sized business, serving our community with a smile, our ownership structure, which is employee ownership, retirement ownership, ESOP ownership, you know, all of those things that we're trying to keep our core and grow the business. I think that's what we stand out against our competition, is that we are sort of this community feel type of business. And so I think we've done a pretty good job, and you know, that's one of our current focuses is, you know, keep the customer first, provide that excellent service, build those partnerships, which is a core philosophy of ours. A core value is partnerships over transactions. So we don't want to go out and ever make it seem like we're a big business, right, or feel like a big business. We want to keep it local. We want to keep it community specific. We want to reach those homeowners and those customers, those new home construction builders. Right. We want to keep it feeling like it's always felt.
Well, that is exactly what I was hoping you'd say, or really meant to kind of get with you today. We talked about big business and what that means, and that was kind of the highlight of this video or this vlog. But the reality of it is, it's keeping your customers first, or keeping your partnerships first, and being an employee-owned company like we are. You mentioned that almost immediately with the culture of our business, and then you said a few things in there that I like to hear as well. The core values. You know, so our core values mean, I think, everything to us. But if our customers really knew, you know, what those were, and I say that differently, appreciated them as much as we did, they'd know why we run the way we do. So
yeah, absolutely. We have 4 core values, and the way that this all got started was, you know, we came into a new executive leadership at Tempo, and we thought it was a good time to just stop down. We had this transition of CEO and COO and president, and so let's just stop down. Let's take a pulse on all of our employee owners at this time. And so we sent out basically a survey and said, what does it mean to be a Tempo partner? And we call everybody that works here partners, because we are, because of our ESOP ownership model. We'll get into that. But we sent a survey out to everybody and basically said, what does it mean? Or, you know, when you think about having to make decisions on your own, what thought process goes through your mind to make those decisions on behalf of our company? And so we got hundreds and hundreds of responses back, and you know, we went from there, we're sending this all the way to paragraphs of responses of what it really means to be Tempo. And then we took all of those responses, listed them out, and started grouping them together. And we came up with 4 main groups, and we turned those groups into our core values. And those are, number 1, people first. People being our partners, our homeowners. We're in business because of people. We run our business with people, so we got to make sure to keep people first in mind. So that's our first core value, is people first. Our second core value is do the right thing. You know, you're not always in front of somebody all the time, a supervisor, a homeowner, a customer on the business side, or a builder. But we expect everybody that works at Tempo to do the right thing. And if you have made a decision or have made a call on something and you come back and say, I did it because it was the right thing to do, you know, that is going to be honored at our company. That's a part of our culture. We want people to do the right thing. Our third core value is partnerships over transactions. So we realize that we exist because we serve a need. Need on behalf of our homeowners, need on behalf of our builder clients, a need on behalf of our apartment managers and developers, a need on behalf of our commercial customers out there. And so we know that we don't exist without you. And so our third core value is that we want to build partnerships with you. We're not just after a transaction. We're not after a quick win. We're after a long-term, lifelong partnership. Right. And so that's our third core value. Our fourth and sort of final pillar or core value, and that's decide like an owner. Because of our ownership model, everybody here is an owner. We all own this business together. We're not serving at the need of a large corporation of outside shareholders or private equity money or an individual owner. We all own this company. We all have opportunities to own it every year. We can increase our ownership, and so we're working for each other. And I think we're doing, if Joey's doing a job, my job is to help support him, and Joey's job is to help support me. And that's kind of how we work. And we feel like we have more care about our business and more care about those that we serve because we're all owners.
Yeah. Well, thinking about it from all four of those core values, and we've got them in the building, we've got them on copies of invoices. We bleed these core values for sure. I think the key to that, and you've mentioned it several times, is the ESOP ownership or employee stock ownership plan that we participate in. And that was also part of our founding company, TD Industries, was an ESOP ownership plan group as well. So tell me a little bit about that, or tell our viewers a little bit about that. What does it mean to be an employee ownership company?
Yeah, so it's actually a really interesting business model. It's really all about sort of sharing and spreading the wealth. So you're not necessarily in business just to generate wealth for a handful of people, or like I said before, another company that owns your company to make them more money, to own more companies. We're all in this as a shared team. We're all, nobody here, kind of has that sort of ownership ranking over others. Now we have proper business structure with org charts and financials and everything else, and we're governed by ERISA law and Department of Labor law and all of your traditional business ethics and laws and things of that nature. We're all kind of governed the same way, but we have this extra step of accountability to each other. And so when I say decide like an owner, it's like, Joey, I expect you to make decisions that you would make from owning this company, just like you would expect me to make those decisions. And we all sort of do the same thing. And those decisions are really based out of those core values, because we feel like if we stay true to those core values, we're making good business decisions. So, at the end of the day, it's a retirement program. So all of our partners are working here and earning a paycheck and a wage for the job that they do. But when we have good years, the value of our company increases, and that essentially turns into the value of our partners' retirements. So when you do decide to retire, the hope is that everybody can retire with some dignity and be able to have a nice life after work.
That's outstanding, and that's really kind of captures what I was hoping you would say. ESOP model means everything to myself. It means everything to the partners who are here. Getting to be able to see Steve, David, Mike Harding, Tom Merle to some extent, being able to transition either through retirement truly retiring or transition to their next step with a healthy income, or let's say a healthy account is really wonderful. And being able to pay that was even more fulfilling for me, and I'm sure you as well. You know, we're here to support each other. You said it, and I'd love to support that through retirement. And I'm glad those three folks I've mentioned, and Tom hadn't quite retired yet, but he's definitely moving in the right direction for himself.
I think it certainly helps people. It helps some consistency, right? We don't see a lot of people jumping from this company to another company to another company to another company. Once you're an owner of a company, you know that you want to stay and you want to see it succeed. And I think that helps all of our customers, our homeowners, and our clients out there. It's like, hey, you're gonna talk to the same voices, you're gonna see the same faces, because people stick around.
That speaks a lot to the talent development or talent strategy that a business has, or more specifically our business has. Tell us a little bit about that. You know, maybe you could either talk a little bit about your career here as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I started shortly out of college. I had an architecture degree, and I started with our green building and energy efficiency company, US-EcoLogic. I was a project manager on multifamily developments. So what that really meant is that I helped developers and architects and MEP firms achieve green building status. And by achieving green building status, there's all kinds of perks out there with regards to tax credits and additional type of lending that you can get. So it was really important. It was, it still is very important. You know, you had to really kind of engage with your clients and engage with all the different type of contractors and builders that are in the field. So I learned a lot about that side of the business. And then I guess that was about 13 years ago or so. And then when the single family home construction really started ramping back up, our former CEO, Steve Saunders, asked me if I would be interested in also learning more of the HVAC specific side of the business. And I absolutely did. As somebody that views this as the only job I'm ever going to have, I wanted to know more about everything that we could do, and I wanted to try to excel at everything we could do. So about 4 years or so after starting, I switched over to the new home construction, single family construction HVAC side, and really learned what it took to design proper air conditioning and install that air conditioning in lots of homes around DFW. And then from there, I moved on to really trying to better understand and work with Joey and your team to understand the service side of the business for a few more years before I sort of got asked to serve more of an executive type role as the Chief Operating Officer. And then when Steve Saunders decided that it was time for him to retire, he suggested my name to the board as his replacement, and the board voted me on. So that was sort of my story.
Right.
But it was a story of continuous learning. And I think, you know, that's the type of environment that we like to have here. And I think that those who do really well at Tempo and US-EcoLogic have this mindset of, I always want to learn more, I always want to get better. And I can see it across the building every day I'm here. I walk around and talk to people, they're always learning something new, a new skill, wanting to get better, you know, starving for training and education. And so we actually, a lot of people don't know this, but we actually have a personal key metric for every individual here. Every single year, it's at least 40 hours of training. So we spend a lot of money and invest a lot in the training of our partners. And if you're in management side, you know, you have a required extra 10, but that's the baseline. There's so many people here that put in so many more hours, and that is completely, fully encouraged. You know, there's all kinds of training platforms out there now, in person, live. We bring trainings here. We have online trainings for those that, you know, want to spend their lunchtime, spending an hour doing different type of trainings online. So that's really you know, that's really just a competitive edge for us. Yeah. Is let's train, let's continue to develop our partners. Let's be the smartest one if we can.
Right.
Let's know the most first.
Sure. Well, the topic you mentioned there, key point you mentioned there was the partners having the training, and you've had some cross training specifically. And where you're growing within the company and growing within this organization, you've got the US-Eco side who's doing multifamily, single family, above code rating and energy modeling. We've got a construction division who's doing work for really good builders, putting the air conditioning in those homes. We did the design work for that as well. So cross training beside each of those two teams really kind of feed off of themselves, being able to help each other grow. And then the service group, I think, takes kind of the benefit of both groups and getting to see each one of those aspects and why these things are designed a certain way and how these air conditioners are meant to perform. You know, getting each piece of that business is really, I think, something that sets us apart and then helps our team build off of that. So the cross-training part about that, you know, something I think is almost, I think, unparalleled, but I may be biased. So
I think it all boils down to good building science, right? I mean, we have our day-to-day, and if you're a design engineer at our company, then you're going to really be good at designing loads for HVAC homes. If you're an energy rater or green building inspector, you're going to be really dialed in at what you expect to see in an as-built with insulation values and sealing and all that. But it all comes down to being a good building scientist, and we all share that knowledge, so that when we're talking to a homeowner or when we're talking to a builder or another trade in the field, you know, we're talking about the building science behind it. And there's a lot of science that goes into buildings. Airflow in and out of a building, you know, thermal drafts and air sealing and air conditionings themselves have so much science in them, just to transfer heat from the inside to the outside or from the outside to the inside. So I think that makes us all a desirable person to talk to out in the world.
Yeah, no doubt. So we started this conversation with big business, and it sounds to me like the air conditioning industry or the industry that we're in is I think bigger than anyone could imagine. I mean, there's a lot that we do, and I think that although we have our fair share of it, there's even things that we don't do within this industry. You know, we're predominantly single family, we're multifamily. We don't get a lot into the industrial, but there are companies out there who are doing this. This industry is huge. So kind of to wrap a little bit of this up, you know, what do you see on the horizon for our company? What do you see that's next?
You know, I think that there's no going back. You can't stop the growth. So I think that we're going to continue to grow year over year. I think, you know, we're going to end up being a $200 million company before we know it, with at least 25–30% of the market out there. And I think for us, we got to do that while maintaining who we are. And so there's other companies that may, you know, so one of the things that we're finding at this point in time is that a lot of single owner HVAC shops, the good ones, want to be able to continue to take care of their current clients. And so they don't want to just kind of sell out, but at the same time, they're ready to retire and live their life. So we're going to continue looking at opportunities where maybe Tempo can come in and acquire some of these companies that they're just ready to be out of the market. But like I say, they want to make sure that their current clients are taken care of, and that fits right in with us. So we'll continue to look for those opportunities. But what we're not going to do is put the cart before the horse. We're going to make sure that we always appreciate how we got here, who got us here, which is our clients and our homeowners, and make sure we're taking care of them first before we try to go do too much.
Well, that resonates with me for sure, and that's exactly what I see us doing. So I really want to appreciate you being here today. The time flew. When we talk a little bit about what we do, we could probably go on for hours. So really appreciate your time here today. You know, if you guys enjoyed this video, please like it, comment on it, and share it. So we're really happy to be a part of this deal, and we're going to keep bringing good content for you. So be ready for the next one. Bryan,
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I love talking business, and I love talking tempo and US-EcoLogic even more. So like Joey said, if you guys like this, let us know. And if there's something we didn't touch on that you want to hear more about, just write it in the comments, and then we'll schedule another one. Like Joey said, we can do this for days.
Yep. Bryan, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.